Welcome back, everyone, to Pontos Fathom Hobbies. This is Season 7, Episode 3 of Eldritch Horror, Mountains of Madness versus Ithaqua, the Windwalker. So we've got a pretty good turn 2, somewhat uneventful, some kind of lame die rolls, but things are afoot. We've got some serious plans in action. Ursula Downs, our explorer, she's hung out in Sydney for a while. She's able to gather provisions on her way down to Antarctica. She's moved the active expedition and acquired a tome, and she is well positioned to clear her personal backstory. So Ursula Downs will be heading toward Antarctica, maybe to close that gate. We've had pretty light Mythos phases, 2 active rumors, but those can get us in the reckoning later, so let's keep those in mind. Meanwhile, up north, so we got Ursula Downs, the explorer, basically in the southern campaign, which will lead her to our sideboard, which is at the Mountains of Madness. And we've already got a clue on Snowy Mountains, so she should be in the Miskatonic Outpost next. So she'll be there soon enough. We'll get that sideboard action going on this turn, or as soon as next turn. Wilson Richards, the handyman, armed with his blunderbuss, has acquired a number of tomes, genealogy reports. He's our man of the north right now. He got bogged down trying to close this clue. He will get right back on that again, try to close a new clue. His task is to close the active mystery. There's a number of Eldritch tokens that represent the supplying the north as winter is coming in Eldritch Horror version. So you can see this snowy north. He's like the Jon Snow of our campaign here. So our handyman, man of the people, Wilson Richards, off to supply the north and get those Eldritch tokens to close out our active mystery. He also will be on point for the active mysteries, the 2 active rumors. Finally, our bootlegger, Finn Edwards, another unsuccessful attempt to close out that clue in Buenos Aires, but he did progress his courier run and is able to now go after the Lake Camp clue that will help him to close his final personal backstory. So let's have a quick shout out to the monsters of the day: Killingworth Bogman, Carolina Tobacco Geist, books 1 and 2 of the Bogman saga, in the vein of cursed creatures from the forest, like the Ithaqua, the Wendigo, the Yeti, the Bigfoot. You have Killingworth Bogman, Carolina Tobacco Geist. 1, bog creature risen from the depths of New England, terrorizing the town. The second, a tobacco-cursed scarecrow in antebellum South, ready for you guys to check out in the links. Help to support us. Hey, I thought before we jump into turn 3, I would just do a quick... I got the Essential Solitude Letters of H.P. Lovecraft and August Derleth here. And I just wanted to read a few things. Now, I did not know that I went to the H.P. Lovecraft Complete Works, and Ithaqua is not in H.P. Lovecraft, but he comes out of the correspondences between Lovecraft and August Derleth, right? So Lovecraft in 1929, in September 26, writes a letter to August Derleth, and he mentions to him, I'm enclosing a recent list of favorites compiled by Belknap, which may be helpful in indicating the findings of very accurate and very independent, unbiased critical sense. So he sort of writes about some stories that he's been enjoying. And he calls out here Dracula, owning Dracula, taking the bus from Boston to Providence. So it's real local kind of stuff. But then he mentions, I think he's right in listing Halpin Fraser above Carcosa, right? So he's thinking that this, is a better work than Carcosa. And then also counting in Blackwood's Wendigo. And then Lovecraft sort of says, Whether any of my junk belongs with such distinguished company remains to be seen. Of late, I have been acquiring an increasingly dissatisfaction of my products, especially the earlier ones. So he's kind of critical. He's like sharing his critique of his own work with August Derleth. Then a couple years later, if you fast forward a few years later, Derleth writes to HP, says, HP, I'm glad you like the stories. And he gives him this quick note that's about Ithaqua. He says, Bates finally accepted, Bates being an editor of one of the magazines that he was submitting to. He says, Bates finally accepted the thing that walked on the wind. So Derleth is the one who actually writes the Ithaqua story. The $100 check was most welcome, I can assure you. So imagine $100 back in 1931, October 26, Halloween, 1931. August W. Derleth gets paid for the thing that walked on the wind, which sort of characterizes our episode of Eldritch Horror here. And then just a last inside kind of baseball chat, another return letter on Halloween Eve, where Lovecraft is talking about some Pittsburgh photograph exhibition, and he goes, glad the Windwalker, so HP writing to August, glad Windwalker has landed definitely at last. And he's also upset about the other works that got rejected. But at least Derleth had gotten his published Windwalker around that time. So, yeah, very interesting reading through these letters. Maybe we'll do that for some of these other Lovecraft old ones. We can kind of find the references to them in the letters. I want to get the volume 2 of this. Maybe I'll pick it up. If you guys check out my Pontos Fathom Press channel, maybe we'll go through some of these more if that's something you're interested in. You can leave a comment below. Okay, so let's jump right into turn 3. I am going to put another active reserve here to fill out our streets reserve pile. And then let's jump right into turn 3. We've got Ursula Downs is going to make her way toward Antarctica. I think she doesn't have any damage. She has nothing here. I guess I can have her... yeah, so she'll just go ahead and move down to Antarctica. I guess she can just pick up a train ticket in case she needs it in the future. How's that sound? Yeah, so she's got one of each other tokens, so let's just have her grab that. And she will encounter the werewolf and try to close this gate on Antarctica on her turn, and then she'll make her way to Miskatonic on the next turn. So that's Ursula Downs, the Explorer's action. Next, we will go to Wilson Richards. Again, let's have him gain some tokens. He once per... he can gain one asset of his choice. Okay, again, one asset of his choice for 1. He gets patrolling the streets. He gets this asset. He has to solve an active rumor for his backstory. So that has to be his goal, heading out to the active rumor. He can perform an additional action, so it's as if he has spent no actions here. So let's have him get a ship token and also a focus token, just so he's not behind here. And he will encounter that clue again. So he's quite armed for travel and ready for his encounter phase. Next is Finn Edwards, the Bootlegger. He will... let's have him also gain a ship token from Buenos Aires, and he has a focus token. Let's have him grab one of these tokens. And now he will also try to close his clue as well. So let's go ahead and close out our action phase. We'll go to our encounter phase, and we have a combat encounter. First off, Ursula Downs versus the werewolf. Does she have some helpful... no. Okay, so let's have her do a roll. First against her will. And she passes her will test. And next of her strength. And she does a 1 damage on the strength. Let's have her do another reroll as well with her focus token. To see if she can do the 2 damage to close this. And she does. Uses her focus token. She gets a reroll. And she's able to close out this monster, 2 health. Okay, so Werewolf out of the game. Now she will do her Antarctica through the gate encounter. So she goes through the gate in Antarctica and she ends up in Yog-sothoth. Strange luminescent murals have been painted on the dark stone. They depict a family of outer gods. You may spend 1 focus to learn the story being shown. If you spend the focus, resolve the pass effect. If you do not spend the focus, resolve the fail effect. So let's have her spend this token. And she will do the pass effect. The children of Senexiluth fled Yog-sothoth to avoid being eaten by their father. Oh, so it's very much like a Saturnian story. So the children of Senexiluth fled Yog-sothoth to avoid being eaten by their father. You can use their path to return home. Okay, close this gate. So she can close the gate. However, some of the glowing paint got on your skin. Wow. Some strange luminescent murals have been painted on the dark stone. So she's rubbed off this glowing paint on her skin. And she has to roll a test. And she passes the test, so she avoids losing 2 sanity and getting her infection condition. So this is great. So she's closed the gate, so we can move this to the bottom of the pile. And she's 1 step closer to Miskatonic Post. So, oh, I forgot to have her give up this test as well. So she gave up this test for her renown or reward effect, because she has to do that on a city space. So, well, let's have her do it later. I gave her 2 tokens, so that's fine. Let's just close that out later. We'll close it out later. I believe that she can go to a city after she leaves the Antarctic board. Okay, so that's Ursula Downs, the Explorer. Let's go on to Wilson Richards. He's going to try to close this clue on the pyramids. And he gets the wilderness. According to an anonymous tip, this cave is somehow related to the abnormal weather. If you pass, you find cave paintings depicting Ithaqua and Nodens locked in combat. Whoa, okay, so interesting. So there's a connection between Ithaqua and some caves, maybe like caves under the Sphinx, right? Caves under the Sphinx. So he's going to make his check, and he passes. If you pass, you find cave paintings depicting Ithaqua and Nodens locked in combat. Gain this clue. So he gains the clue. And what does he need to do with the clue? Does he need to use it for something? No, that's for his rumor. So he just gains a clue. That's fine. He can always use a clue. We can throw that into discard, and he's got to get up north, though, and stop dragging his feet, because we've got to close this active mystery. So let's get on to that. Okay, so that was Wilson Richards, the handyman, able to pass that without much issue. Let's move on to Finn Edwards, the bootlegger, closing out his clue. Again, Ithaqua research encounter. In the city, it says, you find an account of the wizard Omumvag. The wizard Omumvag. But this account of the wizard Omum Vag is in a language that you do not immediately recognize. So let's have him make a lore check. And he passes. If you pass, the text is illuminating. Gain this clue and 1 spell. Okay. If you fail, okay, we don't have to worry about failing. So he gains a clue and a spell. We'll have him resolve those. I will report back on the spells after this. So let's go ahead and close out our encounter phases. So I think everyone's gone. We've gotten clues. We've resolved closing a gate. I feel like our luck is running out for the Mythos phase, right? So let's check out what our Mythos phase card is going to be. And we have the end is nigh. You've pushed everything to the breaking point. Your mind, body, relationships, and possessions have all been worn thin by the demands of your quest. But you cannot relent, not on the brink of disaster. Okay. So first of all, we've got the advance the omen by 1. So we advance the omen by 1. Finally, the game mechanic comes in, right? We don't have any gate with that. So we don't advance the gate. Then we resolve reckonings. Now this is going to be brutal. I don't think we have any card reckonings just yet. No one has any kind of reckonings. We do have a reckoning here, which says each investigator gains a hypothermia condition unless he spends 1 focus. Okay, so each investigator gains a hypothermia condition unless they gain a focus. So let's go and dole those out. Ursula Downs, hypothermia condition. Wilson Richards will spend a focus, and Finn Edwards will spend a focus, so we'll put those off to the side. In case I change my mind, though, I'm going to leave 2 hypothermia conditions there in case they need those focuses for something else. So let's look through all of our reckonings, and we'll figure out what the smartest one is. So reckonings complete. Advance doom by 1 unless investigators as a group spend clues equal to half. Oh. If the investigators do not spend clues, discard the top card of the expedition deck. Okay. And move the Crawling Chaos Epic Monster to the active expedition space. So we move... Oh, so the rumor kind of moves with him. So this all moves now to Rome. So we discard this card, and we move to Rome instead. Okay, so now we've got Rome as the active expedition for the rumor, and which is perfect for the next turn. So now he's actually closer to the rumor. So this is great. Okay, so that's reckoning 1. Reckoning 2 is an investigator that does not have a hypothermia condition gains a hypothermia condition. Then discard 1 Eldritch token from this. Okay, so we have to discard an Eldritch token, and everybody gets hypothermia conditions. So actually, I won't spend those clues because they're going to get hypothermia conditions anyway. So let's just, since we all are going to have hypothermia conditions, we can keep our clues. Keep our focus tokens. So that is the end of the reckoning. Now we have to spawn a gate. So let's check the gate out. And we have a monster spawned on the pyramids. And let's go ahead into the monster bag. We go and pull out what we get. And we get a cultist. And cultist of Ithaqua in the pyramids. Like, it's really gotten, the cold is down to the pyramids now, right? Okay, so gate has been spawned. And now the end is nigh. The event is each investigator discards one item possession, one ally asset, one task asset, one spell, one clue, one focus, and one improvement token. And then they lose 1 health and 1 sanity. So we have to discard everything here. So basically they have to discard everything. So done. 1 tome, 1 task. 1 tome, 1 item. 1 item. Okay, so he can just not discard everything, but he has to discard quite a bit. And now she is without her item, so her artifact. So, and then also discard his spell and discard an ally and discard his whiskey as well. So everything getting discarded from this guy. Spell, cat burglar, whiskey, all discarded. And then lose 1 health and 1 sanity each. Oh, he doesn't have to... Oh, he has a special effect. Effects cannot cause you to lose an item or ally or trinket. So he can keep his ally, item, and trinket, but the spell he has to discard. So he will get reduce his... So that's good. So he doesn't have to remove those. Remove 1 of these and 1 of these. And remove 1 of... Okay, so she's down to 5 and 5. 3 and 7. 5 and 5. Okay, so we also have to remove a focus and improvement tokens as well. So that's quite brutal. And 1 clue each. Very brutal. 1 clue, 1 spell, 1 focus, and. It's not or, it's and. All of this trash. Okay, so it's like we're back to square one. What a massive card. That is a grim card. The end is nigh. Okay, so that is going to be the end of our Mythos phase. Quite a big impact to our explorers. They can perform a rest action to remove their hypothermia, and we'll catch up to them in turn 4. So thanks for watching. We'll try out a strategy for them, but I'm thinking Wilson Richards will head off to close the rumor. I guess she'll continue on to Miskatonic Outpost, even though she still has her unique assets. So she still has that. And he can go and join her down below, or maybe perhaps he'll head up to close the other rumor. That might be a better use of his time. Okay, see you guys in turn 4. Thanks for watching. Leave comments below, ring the bell, like and subscribe, and check out our links. Bye-bye.